What do you think Gita Sowerby's intended message was when she wrote the play in 1914?
That's a great question.
You want to go first?
I'm sure from each angle it is quite different, but I think during the time that Gita was writing, there was very little written about a woman's point of view on stage. And what's fascinating about this play in regards to her other plays is that it's actually from a man's standpoint, though it focuses quite significantly on the women surrounding him. The roles are kind of reversed in some respects in regards to her other plays. In this play, Richard is the one being dominated by the women in his life. But it also has a great message attached to it in regards to the different paths that women can take at that time or cannot take, depending on what their family or financial situation is.
Yeah, I think it's, in terms of the man's point of view, it's a very interesting play in terms of the argument about, as the roles began to significantly shift in the early part of the century, as women redefined their role in society, men were also in a position to, or it became necessary that both sides renegotiate the basic power structure.
What I take away from this play is that this was a woman who was living in a time that, had she had an opportunity to move in different directions, would have.
The answer that she comes up with at the end of the play is, I think, remains quite bold to this day, the renegotiation of what perhaps a family might mean.
You play a couple on the stage and are a couple off the stage. Can you share any details on what it has been like depicting Richard and Jessica and how it reflects on your partnership in real life? Easy.
Yeah, one of the fun first challenges we realized is that the love affair between, the nascent love affair between Jessica and Richard, it's very submerged at the beginning of the play, sublimated, as our director was fond of saying, and we are quite comfortable with each other. So finding that sort of the tension and the strangeness, and trying to recall what that was like at the beginning of the relationship was actually, we were too comfortable with each other in a way. So it was a challenge to try to figure out what that would be.
Absolutely. We are diabolically different than the characters that we play on stage, but it was a great treat to get to work opposite one another. One never knows whether or not you'll work well with your partner. We were fortunate enough to find out that we did. And it was a great, I enjoyed the ability to go home and continue to discuss the work that we had been doing. To have your scene partner at home across the table from you was actually quite helpful.
Yeah.
To chat about things and see, continue to work on different angles and different roads that we wanted to go down.
Tell us a little more about your engagement. How did Graeme propose?
Graeme Somerville took me to Mexico, and we went on a glorious trip, and on the beach one night, on this beautiful dock overlooking the water, he proposed, and I was shocked and thrilled, and it happened on the third evening of our trip, and I was in heaven for the rest of my trip, and still am.
Slap it out. It was I smuggled the ring to Mexico in my sports socks, and actually made her carry it for a while, making all sorts of jokes about
needing an extra pair of socks.
Needing an extra pair of socks, or where one would hide valuables. I was making jokes to myself, basically.
What else can we see you in this season?
I am playing 42 roles, a bit of an exaggeration, but I think I'm playing 11 roles in Ragtime, most of which are boys, so keep an eye out for the newsboy. And I'm having a grand time. I've not done a musical here, actually, since my first season. And prior to being here, I'd done mostly musicals, so it's a real treat for me to be back working with a lot of the musical cast and company, and I'm having a great time.
And my other show is Sheba. I'm, as Jackie put it, in our last rehearsal, I'm one of the AA cavalry that sort of march in near the end and whole
And the voice
Rick
of
off to
Taboo.
safety. And the voice of Taboo, which I'm about to
The radio
record
host.
momentarily.